Beef tallow, it's not just for breakfast anymore. We rendered out this liquid gold, find out just how we did it and what we're going to use it for. If you've been throwing away your trimmings from your brisket, don't do that. Turn it into this great tallow and you'll love it. No, I'm not going to do that. So I had a conversation with a friend of mine last week and he was talking about his brisket. He said it was kind of dry. He did just a flat. And I said, well, did you put any tallow with it? He said, tell me of this tallow of which you speak. Well, it is something that you absolutely need to make your brisket just really moist and juicy. So I save fat that I cut off brisket and I make this liquid gold. So the last time I did a brisket, which was 8/12 of 24, I took some extra tallow that I had and just put it into a plastic bag, threw it in the freezer. And now what we're going to do is grind it up. So this is an attachment that I've got for my wife's KitchenAid. I'm using the coarsest grind attachment to it. We just want to turn all that tallow into these little small bits, which will just make it a lot easier to cook up. So what we're doing is just taking a knife and cutting pieces off of that frozen tallow. You want it as cold as possible because if it gets mushy, you're going to find that inside of here, it just turns into a mess. So we want to have it as cold as possible to do that grind on it. So there we've cut some pieces up. This is still nice and frozen yet. Going to bring these over and we're just pushing it as much as we can down in here, and we'll use this piece also, this little plastic plunger thing, to be able to push it down in to grind it through. So turning it on there. It'll push in there. Just what we want to do there. Look at that. We are all done. Now this is a $30 attachment I think I found on Amazon to fit on the KitchenAid. If I were doing this more often and doing sausage, I would probably opt to purchase a more commercial or at least a serious hobbyist version of a grinder that would probably be a little bit more powerful and do a better job on it. But for 30 bucks, I think that this did a pretty good job as long as I didn't push it too much and try to overheat the motor on that. So now what we're going to do is take this and put it into a pot. So grinding it is complete. And now all we have to do is to cook it down. Now I've seen a couple of different ways of this being done. One of them is to cook it in a crock pot. So you could just put it on your counter, put it in a crock pot. Not sure if they use medium or high. I'd probably start out at medium, turn it up if I needed to. And the other is to cook it on the stove. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cook this in a pot that we're gonna put out on our Weber side burner on the gas grill and cook it outside. It's pretty warm already and the air conditioning is running, so why add more heat to the inside of the house? Why not just cook it outside? And we'll start it at a medium heat, turn it up as need be, and just keep an eye on that. There we go, beautiful day. And we got a little fire going there, kind of a medium heat. And we're just gonna put the lid on. We're just gonna put that lid on and give it some time, keep an eye on it. Started this at a medium setting and turned it down to low. You can see where it's starting to bubble up. Looks like we're cooking oatmeal or something in there. So we're just going to let this go and it's going to cook down. We'll stir it occasionally and just going to give it some time. There is that tallow all rendered out. You can see down at the bottom there's some of those bits, but we're just going to strain off this top and we're going to have all that wonderful stuff. So we've got a strainer, a bowl, and some paper towel that we're going to pour that through, and that's going to strain out. So we're going to strain out everything that we don't want in there. You can use a cloth also. I just happen to have this handy, so this is what we're going to do. Liquid gold, they call that. I've tried this with a coffee filter, and a coffee filter just doesn't quite work. It doesn't have big enough pores in it, and it just ends up getting clogged pretty easily. So that's all the stuff we don't want. Here's what we have strained out. So we're just going to pour this in. I'll let you take a look at that. I'm going to give it a little bit of time to cool down, but that looks just like liquid gold. Look at that. Nice and pure and clear. So I became educated on tallow and found out a few things. They say it's great for cooking. The beef tallow has a high smoke point, which makes it ideal for high heat cooking and frying, roasting, searing, all of those things. It can be used instead of butter in some baking also. The second thing is candles. Beef tallow is a saturated fat that burns very slowly and has what they say is a neutral scent. So they can use it in inexpensive candles. They're a good option for emergency kits as well. The third thing you can do is you can season your cast iron with it. Tallow is great for skillets and any other cast iron that you need to. And the last one is skincare. Beef tallow is rich in fatty acids, and they say that that is great for your skincare. I'm not sure I'm going to put my face in tallow or rub it on my face at night as a mask, but it's used in soaps and some cosmetics as well. So there, you're educated on tallow and what you can do. So if you're putting down some smash burgers, that's a great use for it. When you're doing brisket, put a couple of tablespoons just when you're wrapping your brisket, and that'll add a lot more moisture to it. So hopefully this helps you to know what to do with your extra brisket trim. Make that great tallow, which has lots of uses. If you like the content that I'm putting together here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends, give me some comments. The most important thing is to figure out what you're going to cook in your backyard this weekend. And from BBQplus, thanks for watching.